Before we get started, let's get one thing straight. What you're looking at here is the 6th generation VW Polo. The one before this, or the TSI, was the 5th generation. The confusion comes in because VW used the internal code 6C and 6R, but that had nothing to do with the generation, just like the Polo before that, which was labeled the 9N3. Now, with that out of the way, let's get down to business. The all-new 6th generation VW Polo. The all-new 6th generation Volkswagen Polo hasn't strayed too much from the previous design. That's both a good thing and a bad thing. What it is larger though. It is 81mm longer and 69mm wider. And that's not just more overhang, more bumper, they've actually made the wheelbase on the track wider and longer. And that gives you more space inside, and it also gives it better road holding. On the design front, they've made it a little more angular, a little more sporty. So we've got sharp lines and creases, and these headlights are considerably more angular. Starts to look a little bit like its larger stepsister, the Audi A3. The front air dam is larger, and the fog lights are set a little wider apart with the LED daytime running lights right on the edges. Gives it the impression of being really wide and nice and low. In fact, it is lower, 8mm, which isn't much, but lower is lower. The same theme has been carried around to the side. The new VW Polo has these two swage lines or creases down the side, where the previous Polo only had one. And they converge in what VW calls an arrowhead here in front. It's quite a nice look, and it adds a slightly new dimension to the side of the vehicle. At the back, that C-pillar is now angled a little more forward. And that gives the impression of sportiness, as if the car's lurching forward, even when it's standing still. All of this design has been carried around to the back as well. The angular design elements have been carried over to the rear as well, where you see this line right through the middle now. You can also get these new tail lights in a full LED treatment. But the design hasn't gone down too well with VW fans. You see, they believe that these tail lights look too similar to another German hatch, the F20 BMW 1 Series. Inside sees the most improvement though, and it's not only visual, the changes go skin deep. The increased size means that there's more space in here. Gone is the vertical design theme of the previous generation Polo, and it now has a more horizontal element. The dashboard is a mix of trapezoidal shapes and angles. It all looks really modern and really good. You also get 3 different infotainment systems to choose from depending on your trim level. There's a 6.5-inch composition color system, an 8-inch composition media system, and the range-topping Discover media, which is based on the composition media but features navigation. We're in the Beats version, and this has a 300-watt Beats by Dre audio system, which sounds really good. It also gives you this red velvet paneling and the contrasting upholstery. But that's all on the top, on the surface. Under all of this, there's more tech than ever before. You can spec the new Polo with an 11.7-inch full digital active info display system, the same as you're going to find on the new Golf GTI. Then there's the other party tricks, of which there are many. You can spec your Polo with a host of driver assistance systems. You can get blind spot monitor with rear traffic alert. You can get park assist to help you in and out of bays. Higher models even have tire pressure monitoring, driver profile selection, and driver alert system as standard. But it's in here where most of the change is felt, out on the road and driving. It feels so much more grown up and mature. It's actually like bumping into an old friend that you used to go to school with, finding out that he's married, bought a house, and now the manager of a local firm. All this from the guy who used to smoke behind the bicycle shed. The road holding is markedly improved, and that's at just about any speed. The steering feedback is also very good and lets you know what's happening on the road. As I said, a much more mature approach. For the moment, you can only have the Polo with a 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine, but you get to choose whether it makes 70 kilowatts or 85 kilowatts. The Trend line and the Comfort line come with the 70 kilowatt version, while the High line comes with the 85 kilowatt version. The Trendline and the Comfortline also come with a 5-speed manual gearbox, whereas the Highline has a 6-speed manual gearbox. Personally, I prefer the ratios of the 5-speed, but I want the trim of the Highline. The good news is, though, that you can have any one of these 3 trim levels with a 7-speed DSG. Yes, even the Trendline. They say that the fuel consumption figures will be in the region of, well, 4.5. But realistically, you're going to see closer to 5.5, maybe even 6 litres per 100. And that's also largely dependent on whether you go with a manual gearbox or a DSG. Probably one of the best aspects of the new Polo is the pricing, which is still massively competitive and not that far removed from the old Polo pricing. The Trendline starts at 235,900 Rand, and this ranges to 302,200 Rand for the Highline with the DSG gearbox. This Beats model goes for 277,600 Rand. These will all have the 3-year 120,000 kilometer warranty, but unfortunately you're only going to get a 3-year 45,000 kilometer service plan. VW will be able to tailor a plan for you, but we still think it should have been included.